Pastry and Fuel meet with Casserole to talk about the city's affairs. The first thing Casserole says immediately after he checks the paper in his hand is the fact that they have no money. They tell him that they all know their city is short on funds, and that is even the reason why they are in his office, so they can all discuss what can be the solution to the problem they are going through. Pastry narrates that it has been challenging for their city to overcome the bandits' attack. For a city that depends on fields like theirs, the bandits' attack can be challenging to get over because, during the attack, several of their areas were destroyed. Their houses were broken down, and even their wells were closed down to start again after going through that turns out to be very difficult. It is not helpful for them at all. At that moment, all they are doing is rebuilding the destroyed properties. They try to remove the rocks that have been kept inside the wells and also try to manage the remaining food that is at their disposal so everyone can get something to eat. There is a need for them to discuss where they can get their subsequent funding seems to be impossible for them. Casserole asks them what they think they can do, but they also say they don't have anything they can do. He asks if they can borrow money from another thief, but Fuel tells him that there is no way they can get anything from the other thief. And in fact, there is no thief that had recovered from the attack, and the other fields are even trying to lend money from them. All the towns around them are affected by what happened, and they need to get funding if they don't want their city to go down the drains. Casserole suggests they could also lend money from the Council of Chiefs, but Fuel refuses. He reminds him that lending money from the Council of Chiefs will be putting them much damage because the interest the Council of Chiefs will take from them will be more than they can pay back. They keep bringing up more suggestions until Pastry adds that, if possible, they can also get Casserole's parents to lend them money. Casserole reveals to his son that his parents can't lend them money. He says that he has cut all his links with his parents for a long time, and he and his wife Agnes do not have any relationship with their parents. He tells Pastry that his parents aren't even interested in meeting their grandkids, let alone lending them money. While explaining what had happened, he tells Pastry that when he and Agnes decided to get married, their fief was barren, and everyone thought nothing good would come out of it. As a result, everyone frowns against the relationship, and they insist that they can't get married. However, the kids were in love, so they decided to elope, contrary to what their parents wanted. Fuel adds that it is a classical love story, one that everyone would like to hear and one that he would like to experience. Pastry figures that considering that the period they are in is one that parents prefer to matchmake their kids, there is no way his grandparents will be happy with what their kids have done, which leaves him with another worry about where they will get funding. Later that day, he meets Lumi and Mark. Mark asks him what he and the adults have been saying in the meetings and says that Pastry should stop hiding information about the city from them because they are also one of the decision makers. Lumi laughs at Mark because he makes a mistake in his pronunciation, and after they make jests, Pastry asks Lumi if she is now feeling better and is allowed to come out already. She tells Pastry that her father and grandfather had allowed her to go outside. She says that she is better already, and she even tries to hit herself to prove that she is better, but she feels pain, so she tells them that her injury is still painful, although manageable. Pastry tells them that the issue they are dealing with at the Lord's house is where they will get funds to continue running the village. He says that they need to start farming back, and they need money. Lumi suggests that they could increase their field. While that seems like a good idea, Pastry is of the opinion that it would be impossible because it would take time, manpower, and, most importantly, money, which is precisely what they don't have. The kids insist they are going to help the city in finding a solution, and they also start giving suggestions. Mark says that Pastry trains them in magic. Lumi laughs at him, asking him what he will do if they teach him magic. She calls him stupid, telling him that even if he is trained on how to fight, he is too stupid that he won't understand how to fight, and even if he understands how to fight, he will use it against himself instead of against his enemies. She tells him that if he learns how to use fire magic, he will use it to injure himself and burn himself instead of using it against his enemies. Mark angrily shouts at her, and they start to argue, but Pastry stops them, telling them they should stop flirting, and Mark tells him they aren't. They concentrate on the exact thing they are looking for, which is how to get money. Lumi suggests that they can use the banka pie Pastry made for them to make money. She admits that the pie is very delicious, and if they sell them, it could make money. Pastry thinks about the time he was making the banka pie. He knows how much he enjoys creating desserts for the world, but says that he doesn't think that is a good idea because to do that, they would have to get a lot of banka, which would cost them money, which is the resources they don't have. He also says they are looking for ways to make money and not to make desserts. Lumi brings another suggestion. She says that they could use the magic Pastry does to make money. She asks him to show them one of his magic skills, and he wonders if she hasn't seen him do magic before. He decides to do just as she asked, and he tells them to draw anything they want to see on the floor. Mark proceeds to draw something very unfamiliar. They ask him what he is trying to achieve, and he says he has drawn a dragon, and he has also drawn that he killed the dragon himself. Looking at the picture, Pastry thinks he could have assumed Mark drew a worm with legs. On the other hand, Lumi tells them she has drawn a banka. She draws another picture, and when they ask her, she says it is a banka pie. Mark laughs at her, asking her if that is what a banka pie looks like, and again, they get into an argument, and she says that what he has drawn is even worse than what she has drawn. Pastry settles their arguments again, and he invokes his magic. He puts the drawing they have both drawn on the floor to the back of their hands, and he tells them to check it. They are so shocked. Lumi tries to clean it, but it doesn't clean, showing that it is semi-permanent. She asks him if the drawing can clean, and he tells her it will peel off in 3 days. She says it is a very easy way to make money and asks him if he could use the same magic to draw something on a plank of wood or plank, like recreate something wherever he wants. Immediately she says that it triggers something in Pastry, and he realizes they could use the skill to make money. He holds her and tells her she is very smart, but she withdraws, asking him what he is doing. Before they could ask what was wrong with him, he ran away. He goes home. At home, Casserole has called Agnes to ask her if it is possible that she could get them some funds from her parents. She realizes that they are having issues but reminds him that there is no way her parents will accept to give her some money. He admits that she is right and he shouldn't have bothered her. Pastry immediately enters and tells the adults he has seen a way to make money. He holds wood and reminds his father that he wants to marry Josephine. He asks Casserole how he intends to get a man for Casserole and replies that Casserole has teleportation magic. He can teleport from one place to another and take Josephine along so they can find a suitor. He asks Casserole how nobles who do not have teleportation magic find suitors for their kids. Casserole replies that they have to travel to the royal capital and attend the ball, and traveling is a lot of money, so they get to spend a lot, and they are even at the risk of being attacked by monsters on the way, so it is a difficult journey. Pastry tells them he has found a solution. He uses his magic and draws Agnes on the piece of wood with him. He shows his parents if nobles can buy such drawings to show potential suitors what their daughters look like. The drawing looks precisely like Agnes, and everyone is shocked. When they look at the picture well, Pastry tells them he wants to name it Matchmaking Photos, and when they are trying to pitch it to other nobles, they will tell them the photo saves them from the stress of traveling with their kids to other cities to find a match for their daughters. When Casserole looks at the picture, he admits they could sell it for a few gold coins, and since it is magic and not painting, they don't need to buy materials to get it done, so it is profitable. Fuel is concerned that if they bring that product out, it may reveal the level of magic Pastry has. But Pastry claims there is no way people won't know that he can use magic, and they can actually claim that is the only type of magic he uses so they can conceal his other skill. They decide to do so, but their first plan is to meet with the Count of Rites to discuss their compensation and damages for fighting the bandits which the Kingdom of Rites has lost. Indeed, they travel to the Kingdom of Rites, a very big kingdom with the city of Ritesville as its headquarters. When they arrive at the castle of the Count, they introduce themselves, and the knights say they have been expecting them. The Count is worried that Casserole must have been coming to eat her raw, but she reassures herself that there is nothing a poor noble can do to her. They meet with the Count, who welcomes them. Casserole has told Pastry beforehand that the Count is Brioche Salgrade Milrites. She is the oldest daughter of the old Count, and the heir to the throne is young, so she is holding it on his behalf. Brioche welcomes them, and she asks if they will drink tea with her. She takes them to the table, where she gives them a cup of tea with several cookies. When Casserole drinks the tea, he really appreciates it because it is a well-known tea. But when Pastry drinks it and eats the cookies, he doesn't give that excited expression that she expects from him. She tells Casserole that she has heard a lot about how he had resurrected his dead fief, but Casserole says it is all because of his son's help. Brioche assumes he is trying to be humble. She speaks to Pastry, who says that the growth of their fief is attributed to his father, but all of their hard work had been destroyed because of the bandits, and they heard that the bandits had escaped from Rites. He claims that he has brought some of the bandits so Brioche can interrogate them, and if Brioche denies that they aren't from her city, he can just take them to the royal capital and show the king. Brioche is shocked that she fell into the hands of a kid. She denies knowing about the bandits and claims the ones that attacked them were killed in the city, so there is no proof that the bandits came from her kingdom. Casserole reveals a sword that belongs to her family, which was found with the bandits. She realizes she is grounded and asks them for what they want. Pastry negotiates to get 150 gold coins, and she reluctantly gives it to them. After sealing the deal, she admits to Pastry that she underestimated his intelligence, and she fell into his prey. She admits defeat but asks him why he looked unsatisfied when he drank their tea. He tells her it is because the cookies accompanying the tea were equally sweet. He claims it is better if they make moderate cookies to it. He keeps talking, but his father shuts him up. As they are about to leave, he apologizes for not being a gift for her and draws her on a cloth as a gift. She loves the picture, and she accepts it excitedly.